You're now listening to All Hog Sports, covering all Arkansas Razorback sports, such as football, basketball, baseball, and much more. Now, here's your host for today's show, Sam Stimson.
The Hogs picked up a nice home win at Bud Walton Arena over the LSU Tigers, 77-76. JD Notae in the closing seconds of the game. LSU did get the possession after, but he did hit 2 free throws to win after he was fouled at the top around the left side of the key. Now, the main thing for Arkansas here that stands out to me is how resilient this team is and how resilient this win was. It felt like from around the 8-minute timeout and so forth, LSU was leading for most of the game. Arkansas didn't really have an answer for a lot of LSU's runs at the time, and when they did have an answer, they were only able to basically put themselves back in by a couple possessions. Now, the main thing Arkansas did that I think resulted in a bit of a struggle compared to other games is JD Notae had an off night. 3 for 12 from the floor, 2 for 6, and then 4 for 4 from the free throw line. You look at LSU, they're a very defensive-minded team, and in this game, they basically focused on JD Notae and collapsing in on him and stopping him. And the thing is, he still had 5 assists, though, 7 rebounds, which is nice. But like I was saying with JD, LSU plays very hands-on defense. You know, this is a very moving team that'll, guard guys, switch guys out on defense. And then additionally, Jaylin Williams fouled out with like 4 minutes to go. He had a double-double, 19 points and 10 rebounds. And that one, he played 34 minutes. He was 6 out of 11 from the floor. So yeah, Notae went 3 for 12, had an off night. Jaylin Williams didn't play. And I felt like LSU was just scoring in demand and kept getting their shots up. At the end of the game, Xavier Pinson missed a wide-open layup at the end of the closing seconds, which was huge for Arkansas, obviously, because they got the win there. But, I mean, for Arkansas to have Notae off, Jaylin foul outs, get out rebounded by 9, and really not, have the lead for the most of the final 8 minutes of the game is really impressive. I mean, these are the type of wins that you want in March. For postseason experience, it kind of reminds me of a little bit of the Texas Tech game, except for the Tech game was a little more back and forth. But Arkansas hitting free throws to win the game, and then final possession set up by LSU or Tech in those situations, and it was a missed layup in both of those scenarios. Something Arkansas did struggle with big time, though, was three-point shooting. As a whole, the team shot 5 for 21, and that's kind of been the theme this season, too. Stanley Amude, though, one of the most incredible offensive players in the SEC, he scored 23 points, 3 for 8. Late in the game, he really turned into a takeover type guy. And there was a lot of talk in this game about refs and things like that. And I think it's clear that college basketball officiating has been poor. That's very prevalent when you watch games, and the block charge rule it's broken. I mean, I see a lot of times from anybody taking a block charge that it's the wrong call. But Jaylin Williams taking advantage of that is a smart basketball IQ play. Like I say every time, a charge is an automatic turnover. And if it's going to be called like it is in college basketball right now, Arkansas may as well plan and use Jaylin Williams to draw charges and force turnovers and get the ball for their team and put the other team in foul trouble. Charges were designed to eliminate offensive players when they're out of control, and yes, sometimes I believe that those could have either been a block or no call, but again, I don't blame Williams at all for taking advantage of the rule. The rule is broken, and there's a lot of times Jaylin picks up legit charges. I'm not saying that's all he does, because other fan bases will say that, and that's not true at all. But Jaylin did pick up 2 charges in this one. He's up to 47 charges taken on the season. Nice number there. Like I said, though, the rule is bad, but the way Jaylin has been taking advantage of the rule it's smart basketball, level, and that's just what it comes down to. Arkansas is using the advantages of the rule, and it's like coaches. Coaches work the refs. when they walk up the sideline. If Jaylin can be known as, the best charge taker in college basketball, he's going to get the advantage on some of those calls, and that's just how it is. But Jaylin, that charge part of his game is really huge for Arkansas' success on defense, and he's also good on defense too. Don't act like he can only take charges. That's not true at all. And most of the things I just talked about are just other fan bases. Just after they lose, they come up with excuses. I mean, Kentucky fans are still talking about Jaylin and the charges and all of that. I mean, I guess it's fine. LSU, they played us yesterday, sure, but Kentucky played us 4 or 5 days ago, and then you look at teams like Auburn. We played them February early, and then Alabama. I just don't get it why they're still talking about it when it's what's broken in college basketball, not Jaylin Williams, if that makes sense. But double for Williams, 2 points, huge in this victory. Additionally was Notae. In his possible last game at Bud Walton Arena, he is a senior, but he does have more eligibility. He was playing defense on Xavier Pinson, point guard for LSU. He held him to 5 out of 21 from the floor, 0 for 7 from 3, and then Pinson did rack up 5 assists, though, but his shooting was very off. Tony, lots of pride in his defense when he was able to cut off Pinson in a lot of his game. Arkansas did pretty good, though, shooting 44% against a good defensive team like LSU was nice. The three-point percentage was pretty bad. Getting out rebounded, too, especially on offensive, defensive side. You look at LSU, they picked up 22 offensive rebounds. Arkansas picking up only 10 in this one. Arkansas, 24 defensive rebounds. LSU had 22. And Arkansas has kind of opted to, go back a little more at times, especially when you have Jaylin in. But a shout out to Kamani Johnson, who played in that time when Williams fouled out. He played strong in the paint. He had one good offensive rebound. The only rebound of the night, but you also can't, statistically show his defense and how he fought. And that's the main thing, man. This team fights really crazy. They're really have a great culture under Musselman, and they're going to go out there and get the win. I think this definitely solidifies Arkansas' spot on the C line of being a 4 right now with a huge game at Tennessee. Now on Saturday at 11 a.m. on ESPN, Arkansas travels to Knoxville, Tennessee to play the Tennessee Volunteers. Volunteers sitting at 22-7, 13-4 in conference play. Arkansas 24-6, 13-4 in conference play as well. Currently, Arkansas has the tiebreaker over Tennessee because they do have that victory over them. But if Tennessee wins this one, they will jump up over Arkansas. And as long as Kentucky beats Florida, depending on what happens, though, Arkansas still can be the 1 seed, 2, 3, or 4. But they're guaranteed a double bye in the SEC tournament, which is huge. Arkansas, though, with a win over Tennessee, along with those other 3 teams at Bud Walton Arena, was huge. I mean, you talk about the impact that Bud Walton Arena has on other teams has been fantastic for Arkansas. Hogs in SEC play are 5-3 on the road, though, so they've been able to get a good amount of road victories still. You look at Tennessee as well. They've not lost a game at home this year. They've taken down some tough teams at home as well, most notably a 1 seed Arizona. They've taken down LSU at home, Kentucky at home, Auburn at home. This is a tough place for other teams to play. 21,000 people fit in their arena. It's going to be a very hard game for Arkansas to win on the road, no doubt about that. Now, when these teams matched up at Bud Walton Arena, Arkansas had 58 points, Tennessee with 48. Some Arkansas did really well as the defense. Tennessee's leading scorer at the time, Vescovi, he was 2 out of 13 from the floor. Kennedy Chandler, 5 out of 15 from the floor. Josiah Jordan James, 4 out of 13 from the floor. Tennessee's leading scorer, Ziegler, he had 12 points in that game. Chandler had 11. Tennessee as a whole, though, only scored 48 points, shot 27% from the floor. Arkansas shooting 30%, winning by 10 here. And that one, Arkansas went on a late run and ended up winning that one. Huge night for Jaylin Williams, though, as normal. 13 points, 16 rebounds. J.D. Notae got into foul trouble and ended up fouling out in this game. He had 13 points, though, before he fouled out. Those were your double-digit scores for Arkansas. So, again, Arkansas just has to play high defense on Tennessee and fight on the rebounding side of the basketball as well. If they can limit Tennessee's true shooting percentage, that'll be nice for Arkansas to win that one. But this is going to be a really tough game. I cannot stress how good Tennessee has been at Thomas Bowling Arena this season. Looking at the Vols, though, points per game leader, Kennedy Chandler, 13.6 points per game, shooting 45% from the floor. I expect you'll see a lot of JD Notae, guys like Devo guarding Chandler. Vescovi, obviously going to be guarded by Arkansas's best wing defender, Audice Toney. Looking at that matchup there, Vescovi averaging 13.5 points per game. Toney and some other Arkansas players that switched out on him did a really good job of limiting him at Bud Walton Arena. That last matchup, he was 2 out of 13 in that one. Additionally, for Tennessee, you'll have guys like Josiah Jordan-Ames, Zeigler, their point guard, Fulkerson, and Uros Plasvic as well. Looking at Tennessee here, their most used lineup, though, will be Zeigler, Chandler at shooting guard, Vescovi at shooting forward, Jordan James at power forward, and Plasvic at center. You'll see a lot of that on the floor. Chandler also runs some time at point guard, and they play Hatfield at the power forward spot. Chandler, one of the best players in the nation, highly used for Tennessee in terms of possession percentage. When you have a guy that's going to be a first-rounder in the NBA draft, you want to do that. Main thing here, though, it's important for Arkansas to switch off of Tennessee's players and really play to the game of runs, especially on the road. You can't let Tennessee going on a run stop your team from going on the same thing. Now for Arkansas, obviously JD Notae, 18.8 points per game, All-American caliber player right there. He's got 3.6 assists per game too, 2.1 steals as well. For him to play a style of basketball, shoot efficiently off the floor, and not get into foul trouble will be important as always. Arkansas here with the number one defense in conference play in the SEC, which is why that defense simply has to travel. They have to bring that team defense that has limited other teams' true shooting percentage from three to the lowest in conference play to Tennessee, also second lowest in terms of two-pointing percentage, and then non-steal turnovers as well. Arkansas has to have that defense travel. Offense sometimes can struggle on the road, but having that defense travel will give Arkansas an advantage for sure. Main thing, though, Arkansas just has to shoot the basketball well and run high ball screens, mid ball screens with J.D. Notae, Jaylin Williams, things that have been convenient in that half-court offense this season. Additionally, Jaylin taking charges, forcing turnovers, J.D. getting steals, things like that. I think at the end of the day, though, it's going to come down to Arkansas making their shots, and I know that's kind of stereotypical to say because it's basketball, but you look at the game at Alabama, that was a harder environment in terms of what Arkansas normally goes up against, and Arkansas shot more times. Alabama, I think it was like 14 more, and we shot 31%. At Florida, Arkansas did a little bit better. They shot 46%, which is about, on par for this team. But main thing here, Arkansas's got to shoot the basketball well.
It's time for Sam's prediction.
I've got the Volunteers winning this one 70-66. I think Tennessee is one of the best teams in the nation. They're not a projected 3 seed for nothing. If you look at who's Tennessee being at home, Arizona, Kentucky, Auburn, these are some really elite teams. That's one of the hardest places to play in the SEC. I think this season, Rupp Arena, Thomas Bowling, Bud Walton Arena, and then Auburn Arena have been extremely hard for teams to go in there and get a win. Some things I think Arkansas struggles with is just shooting the basketball on the road. Tennessee will add to that, though, as, obviously road splits and such, but Tennessee, number 3 defense in the entire SEC. They're really good at limiting teams, especially inside the paint and from 2, and that's what Arkansas is better at. So the matchup there isn't that good. Their 3-point defense, number 8 in the conference, in conference play. So